As an audiophile, I think I have a very old-fashioned mindset, in that a hi-fi product's convenience surely has to come at the cost of some quality. But how do you feel about it at the beginning of 2022, when the hi-fi product market is as well developed as it is, especially for music streaming solutions? And Auralic, I think, are a manufacturer that are aiming to prove me wrong. But have they been able to achieve the near impossible task of changing an audiophile's opinion and mindset? Well, it's an interesting one. We're going to find out. Auralic are a high-end hi-fi manufacturer that I am extremely familiar with, but I am definitely still learning about their product design goals and intended sound quality, because this is my first Auralic product review. And if you are new to them as a manufacturer, then their product range, I think, is in essence quite simple to understand. They have their G1 range, which is their entry-level products, which I use entry-level in very loose terms. And they have their G2, or really 2.1 these days, and those are their flagship or higher-end products. And I have here to review the Auralic Altair G1, which is their entry-level, again, use those words very loosely, wireless music streaming DAC. And that product title is really important to consider, because Auralic, I think, are asking customers to make a very important decision about what type of audiophile they are. And that question is, are you an audiophile that prefers the simplicity and convenience of having everything that you could pretty much ever want from a digital music type of streaming product all inside the one chassis? And that is important because the Altair is offering that, and it doesn't offer any digital outputs, so it's not possible to connect it digitally to anything else, such as maybe an external DAC. And why that's important is because if you are an audiophile who likes to maybe change DACs and mess around in that regard, or if you are an audiophile that owns a DAC that you really love, well, in that case, the Auralic Aries G1 would be a better solution for you. And they are both priced the same at £2,299. And the price and the performance and the specification is why I've been using the words entry-level very loosely. Clearly, these are not entry-level priced or specified, or definitely not performance-wise. They're just entry-level products for Auralic. And I think if visuals or industrial design is important to you, then Auralic tick that box as well, as the Altair has a classy, stealthy design. And the chassis is made from aluminium, it's heavy, it's well built, and it has a soft to the touch finish that almost feels velvety, and it made a positive first impression on me. There is a 4-inch colour screen on the front, which is very important and useful for accessing the settings and making key feature adjustments, more so I think than displaying the album art, which it does too. And the Altair is loaded with features. Besides the various digital inputs, such as optical, balanced, AES and coaxial, you have wireless and wired LAN network connections. And that means music streaming availability from Spotify, Tidal, Qobuz, Amazon and other music services. You have Tidal Connect, Spotify Connect, Apple AirPlay and Bluetooth support. And if you want, you can add the option to install an internal SSD drive to locally store music files, or you can connect a hard drive with music on it via USB, essentially turning the Altair into a music server and a music streamer. And you can connect a USB based CD-ROM drive to it and rip CDs to that internal storage. And the Altair is room ready, which will be essential for some audiophiles, but I would say just hold that thought for a minute, because there might be a way to save some money here. Within the processor settings, there is the option to resample or upsample your music up to 384 kHz if you want to. And there is manual parametric equalization that you can use as well. The built-in DAC is fully MQA compatible, and it's not mentioned on the Auralic website, but a little digging, it seems like the DAC is a custom design using Sabre DAC chips, and it supports playback up to DSD 512. And there are 4 different DAC sound modes that make a noticeable but subtle change, and I preferred dynamic in my system, and regulars to the channel can probably guess why. And you have the choice of single-ended and or balanced outputs, which I liked. There is preamplification built in if you want to use it, and a headphone amplifier thrown in for very good measure. So that is a lot of features and what may initially appear as a lot of complexity, but I really like the fact that I could take the Altair out of the box, and within about 5 minutes I had it set up on my network and I was playing music from it. Because it is UPnP or DLNA compatible, I was able to just go on my phone, load up the Bubble UPnP app, select the Altair as an output, and then literally go to my Qobuz music library and have music playing, which you can see just happening there behind me. There we go, quick and as easy as that. And that was great because it meant I could take my time to explore the Altair's menu settings while listening to my favourite music. And also it gave me time to go and find my iPad, so I could install Auralic's dedicated control app called Lightning DS. And I want to look at the app in more detail, but before we do, let's take a look under the Altair's hood. And I have always respected Auralic for posting their products' internal photos on their website. I wish all manufacturers did this because it shows they are proud of their designs, but nothing beats seeing them in the flesh. The Altair is an interesting design, with the DAC section being separated and shielded from the main board. And I like the clean layout of the overall design and the fact that it's all custom boards being used. This particular Altair had the SSD installed. Coming back to the Lightning DS app, I think there has been a trend from some manufacturers of music streaming products to try and push their customers towards Roon as a way of them getting a very nice and feature-rich control experience. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and obviously the Altair is offering Roon ready, or is Roon ready and offering Roon support too. But I have to applaud Auralic for at the same time developing their own control app in Lightning DS, because it's actually a very good control app, and I actually think it's good enough and will give a lot of users a feature-rich enough experience for them to not need to go to Roon or not need to use and pay for Roon, and therefore it can save them some money. And on my iPad Pro, Lightning DS was fast, intuitive and easy to use. On the left you have all the main options like changing between all the different digital inputs, choosing music from your own music library, which I didn't have set up, or listening to internet radio maybe, but for me it was all the time listening to music being streamed from Qobuz. And the Qobuz integration is fantastic. You can quickly do the most important thing, and that is browse the new and recommended sections to discover new music that you love. And when you find music that you love, you hit the heart icon and that music or album is added to your Qobuz favourites. At times there can be some nice album information displayed if that is your thing, but more useful I found was if I scrolled down, other albums from the same artists were recommended, and I really liked that. You hit the three dots to bring up the play options to build a play queue or save a playlist, all easy enough stuff to get your head around. You can bring up album covers full screen, and from here you can select between the different DAC modes, which I thought was very cool and useful if you prefer certain albums with certain settings, or it's just an easy and simple way to listen between them and choose your preference. And I'm sure there are lots of other nice touches within the Lightning DS app that you will discover and enjoy. But when it comes to sound quality, I have been a passionate builder of custom DIY computer-based music servers for a very long time to a very high level. And I think that makes me really fussy of any digital music streaming source or server that I listen to and review. And the first thing that I notice, or the first thing that I'm listening for, is clarity. How clean is the sound? And I have to say, the Altair did really impress me in that regard. It was able to deliver all of the music genre that I listened to with a very satisfying level of poise, timing and clarity. And there was no digital edginess to the sound at all. And I think that is one of the markers of a better quality music streamer. Two albums that are current favourites of mine are Lady Blackbird, Black Acid Soul and Coal to Wall, Songs of the Plains. And this throws up a very interesting contrast between big soulful female vocals and gruff male vocals. And the Altair didn't disappoint me with either. Both vocals were delivered clear and strong in the centre of the soundstage with good emotion. Another current favourite of mine is Bold's self-titled album, which has a mixture of different elements, with some complexity at times, and the Altair breezed through it all without breaking a sweat. And by now I was happy with the Altair's timing, clarity and composure, and I also felt pretty in tune with its overall sound character, which I would describe as being clean neutral really, as opposed to maybe trying to sound bolder or warmer or maybe more exciting. And the Altair sounds squeegee clean from top to bottom, and that is fine because it means the audiophile just needs to add the character of sound they like with the amplifier and speakers. Testing the Altair in this system with the Mission 770 speakers and the Kinky Studio EXM1 Plus amplifier, I found the sound to be maybe just too neutral and too neutral, combining for a sound that was maybe a little bit too vanilla for me. Not that there's anything wrong with vanilla as a flavour if that is your thing. However, switching amplifiers to the AudioFlight FLS9, which has a warmer and bolder sound compared to the M1 Plus, I found it to be a better balance for me. Sounded a little bit more chocolatey rich if we are doing food analogies, but the great timing and organisation of the Altair remained intact. The clarity and organisation carries over into an impressive soundstage, and you can easily tell where everything is and is supposed to be. The treble is precise and relatively smooth, and the bass is nice and tight, again with good timing. And I preferred the dynamic DAC setting of the Altair because it was maybe just a little bit more exciting, a little bit more full-bodied and a little bit more bassy. And if I was being really fussy and really critical, I would have preferred a bit more bass further still, or maybe a little bit more scale, overall kind of grandiose and scale to the sound. But that is me comparing the Altair to much more expensive setups that I'm used to having in here, which is obviously very unfair. Plugging in some headphones to the Altair was a pleasant surprise, as it delivered a good amount of drive, and interestingly the sound was very much the Altair sound. So if you like how it sounds for your hi-fi, then you will like how it sounds for headphones. So to wrap up, at the start of the video I said that I am an audiophile with quite an old-fashioned mindset, that I generally prefer lots of individual boxes doing individual things. But I appreciate I am in the minority, and that a lot of audiophiles just want a nice digital unit that they can plug in, connect to an amplifier, and it can do everything for them. A more minimalist approach, and that is who the Altair is great for. It's uber feature rich, comes in a very nice package, and offers very good sound quality for the money. So there is a lot to like here with the Auralic Altair G1 and not really much to dislike. But I wish that there was maybe just one digital output that would allow connection onto an external DAC. And obviously that is why there are two products in the range, the Aries and the Altair. And I did speak to Auralic about this, and they said that they can see their customers of the Altair G1, that customer's upgrade path would be up to the Altair G2.1, which is even more feature rich and a higher specification and product performance. And that makes perfect sense to me. So on that note, I'll finish the review by saying hopefully I get to look at some Altair or some Auralic G2.1 products in the future, being the greedy audiophile that I am. So I hope you've enjoyed this review. I hope you found it useful and helpful. If you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up button. Obviously subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Of course you have. I'll be seeing you soon. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.